In this week's Technique Tuesday video, I'll demonstrate two different selvage treatments for garter stitch borders. As always, if you'd like to jump right to a specific point in the video, there are direct links down in the description. So this is a garter stitch swatch, and as you probably know, garter stitch looks essentially the same on both faces of the fabric. You have these purl ridges that alternate between these kind of knit valleys. So what is a purl ridge on one side of the fabric is a knit ridge on the other. So you have this kind of offset of ridges from one side of the fabric to the other. And where you transition at the edge from one face of the fabric to the other, you'll see this kind of triple bump here. One of the bumps is the upper bump from one face of the fabric. And then you'll have the upper bump here at the edge from this face of the fabric. And then between them is a third bump that's above both of them. This connecting bump is the result of working to the end of a row, working the last stitch, turning, and then working that same stitch as the first stitch on the next row. You'll see that little bump even in stockinette stitch. The selvage stitches of stockinette never look like the rest of the stitches, and so that's what this little upper bump is right here. What I've done in this part of the swatch is to create a selvage stitch where this upper bump on one face of the fabric just wraps around to the other face and becomes the upper bump of this face. So you only have one upper bump at the edge, and it forms the upper bump of both of these ridges, and then there's no third bump. It still looks a little bit like it's triple because the lower bumps right here sit below this upper bump. To create this wraparound garter bump, once you've completed your row of knitting, you turn the work and then you bring the yarn to the back, just like you were getting ready to knit the next row and starting with garter stitch. So the yarn is in back. You're going to insert into the stitch as if you were knitting, but instead of knitting it, you're just going to slip it off the needle. And then you can continue working in garter stitch. And you'll see you've got that wraparound garter bump at the start of the row. An alternative to the wraparound bump is a twisted chain selvage instead. Now here you'll see that this chain isn't twisted because this is where I transitioned from working the wraparound garter bump to working a chain selvage. And so that first row doesn't look the same. But for all the ones after that, I've got a twisted chain. So as you're working across in garter stitch, you're knitting all the stitches so your yarn is in back. So you complete the row and you turn the work and you keep the yarn where it was relative to this face of the fabric. So it's in front now. And this time you want to slip as if to purl. So you insert your needle into the first stitch as if you were purling it, but you just slip it off the needle. And now you move the yarn to the back in order to work the row as knits. And that is what creates the twisted loop. There's nothing wrong with knitting the selvage stitch on every row, but if you prefer a more finished look, the wraparound garter bump selvage or the twisted chain selvage might be the solution. I like the wraparound garter bump for scarves and blankets, and I find the twisted selvage looks nice in garments, like at the edge of a button band. What I like may not be what you like, so try them both out when you swatch for your project to see which one you prefer. If you like my videos, you can support me on Ko-fi.com. If you have any comments or questions about today's video or suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future, you can leave those down in the comments below or join the discussion in my Ravelry group, Rocks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.